Hello everyone, what's happening? Neil back once again with another quick film review for you. And today I'm going to be taking a look at Knock at the Cabin, the latest film directed by M. Night Shyamalan. And spoilers! Big time spoilers here, folks. I'm going to spoil the hell out of this movie. It's an odd story, but made really well. And I really do admire the filmmaking here, even if the story's kind of weird and leaves you feeling a bit down. But it's interesting. So, it's a pre-apocalyptic thriller slash drama based on a book called The Cabin at the End of the World by Paul G. Tremblay. And it stars Dave Bautista in, I say, his best performance to date. I think he's excellent here and perfectly cast. And he's every bit as good an actor as Dwayne Johnson, I think. Yeah, he's excellent here. The acting is great overall, and it's not a bad movie. It's definitely one of the better Shyamalans. It concerns two men, Eric and Andrew, and they're played by Jonathan Groff and Ben Aldridge, Pennyworth's Thomas Wayne, and they're traveling with their adopted daughter. They go on vacation. Their daughter is a 7-year-old Asian girl named Wen. Kristen Cui is the actor here, and she's excellent as well. And so they wind up vacationing in Pennsylvania when Wen is approached by Batista's Leonard, and he says he just wants to be friends. And at first we're thinking, uh-oh, this could go in bad directions, right? But he obviously has different intentions here. He's very sad, he says, because of what he must do today. So, 3 others join him, and they're carrying these weapons that they call tools. Yeah, right. I mean, who would believe that, right? Certainly not Eric and Andrew, but they wind up busting into Eric and Andrew's house, and they tie them up, and they tell them that if they don't choose to kill one or the other, right? If Andrew doesn't kill Eric or Eric doesn't kill Andrew, the whole world is going to come to an end. Huh? Why? According to whom? It's just, what? Is this God? Is it the devil? I don't know. It leaves you to speculate what exactly is the deal there. It's like, really? You want a happy couple who just got a daughter. They just adopted a daughter. And you want one of them to die. You want to destroy their life, separate them forever, because otherwise the rest of the world is going to burn. Was this like a bet between the devil and God or something? I don't know. There's just so much speculation while we're watching the movie, but they don't actually really say in the end, and that's a tad frustrating. But it also leads your imagination in places. It makes you think, okay, well, I'll just speculate and think that maybe this was it, but. For me, I would have liked a little bit more of, a reveal there, I think. Less of a cryptic kind of situation where we don't really know what it is. I mean, we do get a hint of this being of light that Eric sees, and maybe that's God, maybe that's Iru Iluvatar, maybe it is the creator, I don't know, who knows. But when one of the 4 is killed, every time they say no, that's when they start, going, oh my God, these guys are completely psychotic. But eventually they do believe, as a consequence of them choosing no, which naturally they would, anyone would, they wouldn't believe this nonsense at the beginning. Hundreds and thousands of people die as a consequence every time they say no. So yikes, right? It's just a huge consequence there. But again, still, Eric and Andrew, they don't believe it, especially Andrew. But after Leonard kills himself, he's the last one remaining out of these 4 visitors. More planes begin to fall from the sky, and they full on believe. And so Andrew shoots Eric and kills him to make the ultimate sacrifice. And this was really Eric's idea as well. And Andrew and Wen, they run out of the cabin just as it's struck by lightning, and burns up in flames, and many potential disasters are averted. Hurricanes and earthquakes and everything cease and whatnot, and everything's good again, it seems. Father and daughter drive away, and they play their favorite song, which is Boogie Shoes by Casey and the Sunshine Band. I still associate that song with Boogie Nights more than anything, but it's put to good use here as well. So, it's an interesting movie. It's a much better R-rated pre-apocalyptic film than, say, The Happening. What? No! Oh, man. What a bad movie that was. I mean, it was a ballsy movie. It took a lot of courage to make a movie like that and try to get your audience to kind of go for that, but it didn't work. This one works a lot better, though. This one really does work a lot better, even though it is still very, very bizarre. I mean, what kind of a cruel god would do this? It's like, why would you force this choice upon two people, three people now that are happy, one happy family? Why would you do that? And it's just like, so, oh well. I mean, the characters do assume it's, homophobia at start and things like that. And I'm like, okay, don't go down that road. And they didn't, thank goodness. They didn't go too far down it. So, but it's interesting that they had to acknowledge it, right? The fact that, maybe it's a hate crime. Well, no, it's not. That they squashed that pretty quickly. And I was happy to see that, because he didn't want to get into all politics about, prejudice and things like that. It was just, you don't want that to be a distraction in a film, especially since it's a not just a tense thriller, but it's also really a fantasy in the end. I mean, it's pre-apocalyptic times right here. So there you go. So yeah, I mean, strange that this entity would demand this of people. It's a little disturbing. Like I said, I thought it was the devil in a bed with God and whatnot, and maybe we'd get a bit more of that in a certain way. But they do leave it a mystery in that sense, as to why this would happen. But yeah, I mean, we really do think throughout the majority of the film that these guys are really psychos. These four, who turn out to be basically the four horsemen of the apocalypse, apparently, they're psychos. We're meant to believe they're psychos. They're doing something, like they're messing with the TV, and and it's just like Andrew says in the film. It's like, you guys are, just making this all up. It's all just a huge plan, and I don't know what you want in the end, but you're crazy. You just want to be crazy. That's it. And no, they're not crazy. They wind up telling the truth. It's not a satanic cult or something. They just told the truth. So bizarre. So I don't know. For me, the story could have been a lot better. Quite frankly, the performances though are the real standout here. They were excellent. The whole cast is wonderful here. Rupert Grint actually plays this jerk from Massachusetts, but he had visions and he was a believer. He was one of the horsemen, and he sacrificed himself. He died first, actually. So, interesting. And a very nice accent, too, on the part of Rupert Grint there, known for the Harry Potter films, of course. But I gotta say, Batista, I mean, this was a brilliant performance from him. And, of course, the young Kui as well, as 7-year-old Wen. Just two excellent performances here that are worth recommending just on their own. Like, if you want to see this movie, I recommend the performances and the execution. The filmmaking itself is really top drawer. This director knows what he's doing, certainly, but he takes a lot of chances, which you got to admire. He takes risks with the story. He challenges the audience to go, could that, I don't know, could that happen? That sounds kind of silly and crazy. But that's Shyamalan, right? I mean, that's how he makes his movies, and Old wasn't very good, in my opinion, and a whole bunch of his movies I didn't like, but his first three movies were pretty darn good, and still, I think, hold up today, although the end of Signs was maybe a bit disappointing, but still, I digress. This movie here, it was a bit disappointing on the story. Performances are worth it, though, so it's a million times better than The Happening, and if you like that movie, you'll love this one. So, in the end, even though there's no twist, this time at the end, the characters were telling the truth. I'm going to give it a fair score of 7 out of 10, and that's mainly for the performances and the filmmaking, as I said. So definitely see it for Batista and for young Kui here as Wen. Fantastic stuff from them, and yeah, it's really well made, really well done. It's just, the story was a bit, meh. So, that's all from me, guys. This is Neil. Take care of yourselves, and until next time, peace.